you ever watched something in English and thought, oh my God, I didn't understand anything? It's frustrating, I know. We spend hours studying grammar, memorizing words, and when it's time to listen, it feels like all the effort disappears. And here's the surprising truth. The problem is not you, it's the way you were trained. Most people learn English trying to translate every word. But the brain doesn't work like that. It learns by patterns, rhythm, and context. That's why even if you don't know everything, you can still understand a full conversation. The paradox is simple. The less you try to translate, the more you understand. It feels strange at first, but this is what opens the door to listening fluency. And what if I told you that you can understand any conversation without subtitles, even when it seems impossible? In this video, I'll show you how to turn that feeling of I didn't get anything into confidence to follow any dialogue. If that sounds challenging, it's because it really is. But that's exactly why the reward is so powerful. Why you get lost in conversations. Have you ever tried to follow someone speaking English and suddenly everything turned into a blur of sounds? It's not that you don't know vocabulary or grammar. What really blocks your understanding is the speed of speech, the words connected together, and the fact that your ear is not used to this rhythm yet. Knowing this already takes away a big weight because it shows you're not lacking intelligence, you're lacking listening practice. Once you realize this, the guilt starts to go away. You see that you're not broken, you just haven't trained enough to handle the natural speed of conversations. It's like hearing a new song for the first time. At the beginning, it sounds confusing, but after a few times, you can follow even the small details. Spoken English works the same way. That's why the first step is changing how you see yourself in this process. It's not that you can't understand English, it's that you haven't exposed your ears enough. And when this switch happens, a new path opens. Instead of always depending on translation or subtitles, you start to train listening as something natural and alive. And that's where the real secret comes: exposure. The secret is exposure, not translation. When you depend on subtitles to understand, your brain relaxes because it knows it has a crutch to lean on. But in this comfort, it doesn't learn to catch the sounds, rhythms, and context for real. It's like riding a bike with training wheels. You can move forward, but you'll never feel true balance. What really makes the difference is not translating word by word, but training your ears to get meaning directly from what you hear. This training happens when you expose yourself to English without support, even if it feels confusing at first. Play a podcast, watch a short video without subtitles, pay attention to tone of voice, pauses, and gestures. The brain is smart. It starts to search for clues, fill in the blanks, and recognize patterns. This is the practice that, little by little, gives you confidence. The more you allow yourself to listen without immediate translation, the faster your brain learns it has to work. And it's in that effort that it grows. The magic is that once you let go of the crutches, you realize you don't need to understand every word to get the message. And this leads us to something essential: learning to listen beyond words. Listening beyond the words. When you think of understanding English, maybe you imagine catching every single word. But in reality, that's not how it works. What truly matters is rhythm, intonation, and the key words that carry the main idea. Many times, understanding 30% is enough to catch 100% of the meaning. The secret is to train your ear to look for the essential, not every detail. If you stop to think, in daily conversations in Portuguese, you also don't listen to every syllable. You understand through tone, context, and the way the person speaks. English works the same way. So when you feel lost, focus on catching the words that matter most. Main verbs, names, repeated expressions. Those are the anchors that give you the main meaning. And once you understand this, you stop pressuring yourself for perfection. Instead of freezing because you missed one word, you keep following the flow and realize the general idea is still clear. That's when your listening moves to another level, because you start listening like a real participant, not like someone taking a test. And that prepares you for the practical part: how to train your ears every single day. How to train your ears every day. The key is to make listening a natural part of your routine, not something heavy that only happens when you have extra time. The secret is consistency in small doses. Instead of forcing yourself to watch a 2-hour movie, choose short clips of 2 to 5 minutes and listen to them several times. The first time, just listen. The second time, notice the words you recognize. The third time, try repeating out loud to fix the sounds in your memory. This training doesn't have to be formal or full of rules. You can listen to a podcast on the bus, play an English song while cleaning the house, or even change your phone language to get used to small words every day. The important thing is not to depend on one big study session, but to create many small points of contact with English throughout your day. The more variety in your practice, the better. Try different accents, from a faster American to a slower British. Your ear learns to adapt, and this reduces the shock when you meet someone who speaks in a different way. This simple routine, repeated daily, builds a solid base for the next step, the moment when real understanding happens. When understanding truly happens. There's a turning point when you realize you're no longer translating word by word. Instead, you start listening as if you're inside the conversation. That's the moment when English stops being a school subject and becomes a living experience. You don't think about grammar rules, you just react to what you hear, like in any normal dialogue in your own language. This state doesn't arrive suddenly, but with constant practice. Each time you keep listening without worrying about every detail, your brain adjusts. Until one day, you notice, I understood what they meant even without knowing every single word. That feeling of clarity, even with gaps, is the sign that your listening practice is turning into real fluency. The best part is that from there, your confidence grows. You see that you don't need every single word to take part in the conversation. This freedom changes everything because it removes the pressure and puts you into the real flow of communication. And at this point, you discover something deeper. The brain learns patterns, not translations. What really speeds up your listening is not memorizing long word lists, but recognizing repeated patterns. The brain works like a machine that notices repetition. When you hear expressions like, "How are you doing?" or "Do you know what I mean?" again and again, your brain starts to understand them as a whole, without breaking them into small parts. That's when English begins to sound natural. This change happens almost automatically. At the beginning, you still try to translate, but with constant practice, certain phrases stop being a puzzle and start feeling familiar, as if they are already recorded inside you. You hear them and understand right away without going through Portuguese in your head. This jump is what makes listening faster and smoother. And the more you get used to these patterns, the easier it becomes to follow long conversations. Instead of getting lost in each word, you recognize entire blocks of meaning. That's the natural path to listening fluency, letting your brain work with patterns. And when you understand this, even moments of confusion gain value, because it's exactly there that confidence is built. Building confidence in the chaos. It's normal to feel like you understood nothing when someone speaks too fast or uses expressions you've never heard. But even in this chaos, just staying and listening is already powerful training. The brain catches loose clues, a familiar word, a gesture, the intonation, and little by little, it learns to organize the noise into something that makes sense. The common mistake is giving up in these moments. When you stop listening because you think you didn't understand anything, you miss the chance to train the most important skill, tolerating uncertainty. But if you keep paying attention, even while confused, you're already teaching your brain to make connections. This silent effort is what builds long-term confidence. And the magic is that after several experiences like this, you notice the discomfort getting smaller. What once seemed impossible to follow starts to sound familiar. It's in this space where there's noise and uncertainty that real progress happens. Because understanding English is not about controlling every detail, but about feeling safe even when not everything is clear. Now that you know why you get lost in conversations, how to train your ears, and how to turn chaos into confidence, the choice is in your hands. Will you keep depending on subtitles, waiting for the perfect moment to understand everything, or will you start practicing today for real? The difference between those who stay stuck and those who move forward is not talent, it's consistency. Think about this. What can you do today to take that step? Maybe listen to 5 minutes of a podcast without subtitles, repeat one sentence out loud, or even expose yourself to a new accent on YouTube. It's not about time, it's about frequency. The more you expose yourself, the faster your brain adapts. And here's my challenge. Will you keep waiting to understand every word before feeling safe? Or will you accept that true understanding comes in the middle of chaos? If this message made sense to you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, you'll find practical ways to make English part of your life. No false shortcuts, no excuses. The next step is yours.